So hi all, in today's session we are mainly going to discuss about your file system of your Linux operating system, which is the most important part of your operating system. You should be able to understand what all file permission is required, because if you don't understand this one, so you will be always facing troubleshooting issue while you are trying to execute any file, you are trying to edit any file. Okay, so you'll be getting permission denied error, you will be getting you are not permitted to do the particular thing. So you should be able to understand what exactly the file permissions, guys. Okay, so whatever the information I am providing over here is as per my production environment real time experience, guys, which I have worked as a Linux system administrator. Okay, so let's directly jump into the topic, right? What do you mean by file permissions? Okay, so file permissions are nothing. Okay, file permissions are divided into three levels. First is your at owner level, second one is at your group level. You are able to see, right? So file permission will be divided into owner level, group level, and other level. What does that mean? Owner level, group level, and other levels. So if you remember properly, I have shown, if you go to this particular, go to batch 7M, guys, just clear it out everything. Okay, now what you are going to see over here, just do a LL, correct? So if you do a long listing, you are able to see lot of details of your files or a directory. Correct, guys? So here in the starting of the file, you are able to see something, right? So I have explained in the previous session that what is this D stands for? What is this hyphen stands for? This D and hyphen is nothing but this is your types of file, right, guys? So this stands for your directory, and this hyphen stands for a file. This represents that this is a directory and this is a file. Correct, guys? Now, what is this read, write, execute, then read, execute, and read, execute? In between, there is hyphen, right? So we need to understand what all these permissions are there and how we can modify these permissions according to our requirement, guys. Okay, at the same time you are able to see the link, you are able to see who's the owner of this file, who is the group owner of this file. Okay, what is the size of the file and when it's got created. Correct. So again, I am repeating, these are the information related to your file permission. It will starts with your nothing, but it will starts with your file type. Then it leads to your file permission. Then it will be telling you links. Okay. Then it's telling you the who is the owner of this file, who is the group owner of this file, what is the size of the file. Okay. And when this file got created. So let me take you through. We'll take this particular example and then I'll be explaining you each and everything. I'm going to take this particular example, guys. Just try to understand this one very carefully. Okay. This is very much important because you are going to deal with this one on a day-to-day basis. Because see, whenever you are giving permission to someone, it's very important that what permissions you are giving to some file or a directory, whether it's a normal user, whether it's a system user, or whether it's a root user. So you should be able to know what all these users. So anyways, we'll be understanding this particular user administration in the upcoming session. But before to that one, that file permission is very much important in term of your, if you are deploying your application. Okay, or if you are deploying your any software on top of your Linux operating system, so these file permissions are very much important, whether you are editing some file, whether you are deleting some file. So this is very much important to understand the file permission, guys. Just try to understand now. Okay, so we are going to take this example and we are going to paste this one over here. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is just, so coming back to the slide, guys, just try to understand what I said very clearly. Permissions are applied on three levels. Okay, file permissions are applied on three levels: at owner level, at group level, and others level. So we are talking in term of file permission as of now, till now. coming back to here, guys. Okay, so I have taken which example? I have taken this file, that is your demo.txt, right? So what is the file is there? Hyphen read write hyphen read hyphen hyphen read hyphen hyphen, guys. So we are not going to talk about this one as of now. This is part of user administration that I'll explain you later on. So only thing is we are going to talk about your file permission. Okay, so in the this particular slide you see permissions are applied on three levels: owner level, group level, and others level. Okay, so try to understand this one very carefully, otherwise you'll be get confused. So what is this? Just this particular first part, just forget about the first part, guys. Okay, this first one is nothing but this first one is your, if you talk about, this is your file type. Correct? Types of file we have discussed, like character file, block file, directory file, right? Link file. So don't think about this one as of now. Only thing we have to think about this read write and hyphen. Okay, read hyphen hyphen read hyphen hyphen. So I am going to take this one as a separate. Okay, and I am as of now just forgot about this particular thing, guys, this part. Okay, just think as of now this part only, which we are going to discuss now. Just try to understand very carefully, this is very much important. Okay, so then only you'll be able to understand the file permission. I have taken the same thing, guys. Okay, and I have maximized it. So when I talk about what is, I'm talking about your owner level, group level, and others. Then in your file permissions things will be divided like this. It's very clear and easy, you need to understand it like this, guys. Okay, there is no rocket science involved in this one. Okay, just try to understand this one. So the first part, what is that first part? The first part is nothing but where you have written read write and hyphen. This is nothing but this is your owner. Okay, this is the owner level. Okay, and if you talk about the second one, which is read hyphen hyphen, this is your group. Guys, are you getting my point? And the third one is nothing but that is your others. Guys, are you able to understand this one? What I am telling over here is, you guys are able to understand or not? Okay, so just try to understand this one very carefully. Okay, now the thing is you have divided this particular file permission, that is read hyphen hyphen and read hyphen hyphen into three levels. What is those three levels are there? Those levels are owner level and group level and others level. Now understand what all these three levels if you have divided. So in each level there is something called read, right? There is something called write, right? And there is something called execute. So for a file there won't be any execute permission by default. Let me tell you very clearly. Okay, so if you go here in this file and you are able to see here, it's clearly right. So here you have read, you have write, and you have hyphen. Correct? And you have read and you have hyphen hyphen. Correct? And again you have read and again you have hyphen hyphen. Means what? Means you need to understand this one. R stands for read only, W stands for write, edit, delete, and append only. So whenever a file is write only, so you are able to edit that file, you are able to delete that file, and you are able to append something on that file. And when you have given execute, so normally execute permission will giving it to the shell scripting. When you want to execute a file, see, editing is a different. If you only want to view something, then you can give a read permission. So this file, obviously this file we can read, we can view, at the same time we can edit also, we can delete also, but you cannot execute this file, guys, because there is no execute permission X over here for owner level, group level, and others level. So this is how we can change permissions of a file when you need to change the permissions. Now let's move ahead and understand the next slide. Okay, what is the next slide? What all the permission just now we have understand, that is read, write, and execute. Read is nothing but if the file is open file, or what we do normally, guys, just understand, if you do ls, you are able to read these files, right? I'm not going into ll command as of now, long listing. Okay, you are able to read the files, means that is an open a file. If you do ls, If you are able to open the file, if you are able to view the file, this file 4.txt, if you are able to view, there is no data inside this file. Okay, just try to understand this file, file 9. There is no data inside this file also. If you go to any of this file, file 2.sh, okay, there is some data inside this one. Means you are able to view the files. And if you do ls, you are able to see the directories. Okay, that is read only. And if you give write, means you are write, edit, append, and delete. Means add. If you talk about in term of directory, these are two things. In term, you need to think two terms, not only. So I said very clearly, if you do ll, so there are directories also, there are files also, right? So whenever you talk in term of file permission, you need to understand file in term of directory and in term of your files also, with respect to file also. So here, if you come here, you are able to see for the files, if it is write permission, means you are able to write, you can edit, you can append, and you can delete also. That's what we can do. If you open this file, what is this file? This particular file, file 9. You are able to open this file, and if you do insert that, you are putting Linux over here, Linux 01. So you are able to edit this file, correct? That's what we are able to do, guys, over here. Now next thing is that you are able to append something on that file. Means if you want to put a data inside this file, how we can put a data, I have already explained you, correct? You need to give terminal 01. This data I want to append to which file? File 9. Enter. Now if you do cat of this file 9, you are able to understand, right, guys? See, data is appended. You are able to do. It's because of why, if you do long listing of this file is having write permission also as a honor level. Again, go here, just understand, this file has a write permission at honor level. Guys, are you getting my point? Now coming back to the next point, what is the next point? And in term of, you talk about with respect to directories, for directories also you can add, delete, and rename the directory. Yes, we can do if it is having write permission. But when you don't have execute permission in a file, when you don't, this is normally we use it if you want to execute a file. From where we execute a file? From bin bash, right? Correct. So if you don't give this execute permission, means you are not able to execute this file. If you try to execute, even if I'll save this file, file 9.sh. If you want to execute a file, then you need to give an extension called sh. Okay, so just take this file. Okay, what we are going to do, we are going to copy this file into .sh. Enter. Now ll, and just see this file. Now see the permission of this file. This file is having only read write, read and read. This is at honor level, read write, and this is at, this particular is at group level, and this is at others level. But this file is not at all in green, means it is not executable. But it is not like with the color, I just wanted to say, because here there is no x, there is no executable permission. So x represent a execute permission. Even if you do sh, if you want to execute a file, file 9, file 9 dot, file 9 dot sh. See, it's clearly telling command not found, command not found. You cannot execute this one like this simply, until unless you need to give a write permission to this file, guys. Try to understand this one. Coming back to the point here, means if you have execute x permission, then to run a command, or you can run that one as a shell script to enter into a directory using cd. If you want to enter into a directory using cd, then you need to have execute permission, guys. So if you go to any of the directory, just go to any of the directory, let me show you something. Okay, this is the directory. So if you see this particular permission here, you are able to see at the owner level, read write execute, correct? And at the group level, read and execute. At the others level read and execute is there, means there is execute permission. This is why you are able to get insight to this Navin directory. Are you able to understand or not, guys? Okay, now coming back to the next point, which is very much important. Okay, now you need to understand the file permission, how we can give file permission. You have understand what all labels of files will be there. That's what we have done, guys, just now, correct? Here you are able to see owner level, group level, and other level, correct? What is read write execute, that also you understand. Now you need to understand how we can give permission at a different level, that is owner level, at a group level, or at others level. How we can change permission, how we can decide who is going to decide, right? There should be some calculation, right? There should be some way. So what is that way? So that way is nothing but, if you go to this particular slide, and you will be able to understand what is that. So there are two ways to assign the permissions of a file: at owner level, group level, and others level. Just keep this thing in mind. Okay, so now there are what all those two ways. The first way is your symbolic method. What is that? UGO is nothing but user, group, and other. The second method is absolute method, that is number. So you need to understand these two methods. Why? Because if you don't understand, if you directly start working on some absolute method, then you will be never understanding this symbolic method. Why we are using this absolute method instead of using? So in our production environment or anywhere, nobody is going to use, okay, I'm sure that nobody is going to use this symbolic method. So there should be a reason behind this one. And why everybody is using this absolute method? Okay, so in this symbolic method, what we do normally is we use chmod. Chmod is nothing but, if you go to this path, if you run the command, so what thing you need to do always? Chmod hyphen hyphen help, guys, right? So you are able to, this is the first thing you need to do whenever you execute any command, Linux command. Just see the option, and the next thing what you need to do is just do a man, and then you need to do chmod. Okay, enter. So are you able to see what is this chmod? This is for change file mode bits, means permissions, and you are able to get different options. Now coming back to the point, just come here. Okay, and trying to understand again, coming back here. So here what I'm telling is, first understand this symbolic method. What is this symbolic method? Symbolic method is nothing but, here we are going to give the permission at user level, group level, and others level. How? By use of this plus, minus, and equal to. This is how we can give the permission by using this symbolic method. Let me show you how we can do this one, or how we can achieve this one, guys. Okay, so let me take you to this particular file. What is that file? Demo.txt. Now the current permission of this file is what? Read write hyphen read write, sorry, read hyphen hyphen and read hyphen hyphen. I have to change this permission. How I am going to change this permission? Let me show you, guys. Now understand here, what is that file? This is the actual file, right? This is the actual file. Now we want to change the permission of the file, and we want the permission to be like this: at owner level, instead of read write, we want read write execute. At others level, instead of read hyphen hyphen, we want read and execute. At others level, instead of read hyphen hyphen, we want read and execute, guys. How we can achieve this one? So as I said, in the symbolic method, if you go to this one, you need to give u equal to user, g equal to group, and o equal to others. How we can do this one here? So chmod is the command to change the permission. U, what permission now you are going to change? You are going to give read write and execute. Now for the group, why, what we need to give? We need to give read and execute. For the others, what we need to give? We need to give read and execute, guys. Are you able to understand my point? Now coming back to here, just try to understand what we are going to go do here. U equal to read write execute, correct, comma, what for the group we are going to give? Read and execute. What for the others we need to give? That read and execute. For which file? That is demo.txt, correct. What is the previous file permission was there? This is that previous file permission, correct? If you do ll of this file, you are able to understand this one. Just do ll. So what is the current permission of the file? So if you just do ll over here, don't copy entire thing, only the file name. So this is the actual permission. Now we are changing this permission, right, by using of symbolic method. So I am going to copy this one over here and I am going to execute. Done. Now see, run the same long listing. Are you able to see something? Now read, write, execute, read and execute, read and execute. Means what? Now you can execute this file if you want to use it for shell scripting, and it's become green. So don't go with the color. It's because of this X. If you have given execute permission, but guys, you understand how much complex is this symbolic method? It's very complex compared to if you go to this absolute method. What is that? So there will be a value for read, write and execute. What is that value for read, write and execute is? So the value is nothing but, if you see over here, if you can now at the same thing, right? What is the permission as of now over here? That is read, write, execute. For the same demo.txt only, demo.txt only I am going to take the file again. And now this time I want to change the permission. What permission this time you want to change? So I want to change the permission from read, write, execute, from read, execute and read, execute again back to the previous permission, that is read, write, read hyphen hyphen, read hyphen hyphen. So how we can achieve? By using this particular, that is absolute method. It's very easy, just try to understand over here, guys. So what you need to do is, you just need to run a command called chmod for absolute one. Okay, now what next you need to give? You need to, if you want to convert it to into the previous one, what we want is, we want this one to be this particular, this one again back to the this one, changing the permission to this demo.txt to the default permission. How we can achieve with the absolute one? Okay, so as I said very clearly, what you need to do is, you need to do a chmod and just see read, write. What is the value for read? That is 4. What is the value for the write for the at owners level? Just try to understand. What is the value for write is 2, so 6. Now come to the group. Okay, what is there? If you see this one clearly, if you are able to see this one, there is only a write, means there is only a 4, correct? So what we need to do over here, just come here and give the value called 4. What is the next for the others? Again 4, correct? There is only a read, so you need to give it to like this. That's it, done. And then you need to give the file bin. So I just wanted to make you understand, see how much easy this absolute method is there. Do you really think in your production environment you have that much time and you have complexity? So in this fast paced environment, you should be smart enough to solve your problems, right? Correct, guys? So in that scenario, what you are going to do? So you are going to use this particular absolute method. Now you are going here and just do chmod. Now what is the file permission as of now? This one, which we have changed. Now we are changing by absolute method, that is 644, enter. Okay, you need to give the file name demo.txt. Okay, now do again demo.txt. See, it is back to normal, and it's very easy also, right? So guys, this is how we can change permission of a file permission by using your symbolic method and by using your absolute method. So always use this absolute method because this is easy to use and you need to save your time. That's what we need to do. Correct. Now coming back to the next point, that is also very much important. That is your umask, guys, in your file permission. Okay. So how we can calculate a file default value? There should be a default value for a file and there should be a default value for a directory, guys. Okay, so before going into this one, let me show you some more examples which I have not shown you with your directory one. So by default you are able to see something over here for this directory, right? So what is the default permission for this directory? If you think, if you just understand what is the for the at owners level, what is that? Read, write, execute means what? 7. Again read and execute means what? 4 plus 1 5. And again For the others, read and execute. Again 5 means default permission for a directory is 755. I want to change this permission to 777. Execute, execute, execute. For which one? For Naveen. Enter. Now do Naveen. See, if you particular see this Naveen, okay, it's showing you inside whatever the things are there inside that Naveen. And if you do LL, you are able to see Naveen over here, guys. Just try to understand. Okay, so you are able to see now Naveen. The permission change to read write execute. That is 777 777. Okay, so this is how we can change file permission or a directory permission. And again, if you want to make it back, then just do a 755. This is the default permission for a directory. Okay, enter. Correct. Now do LL. No, just do LL. Okay, now see it is back to normal. Correct. Now coming back to the next point which I was discussing with you. Just try to understand this one very carefully, guys. Okay, before understanding this UMask, before understanding this UMask, okay, you need to understand what is the default permission for a file and what is the default permission for a directory. Okay, and then I'll tell you from where these values are coming and how we can get your default permission for a file or a directory. Now here, if you do a touch, normal touch, okay, if you do a touch command and I am going to create a file called, or you are going to create a file called permission dot txt. Enter. Now do LL of this file. So guys, are you able to see something over here? Means whenever a file gets created in your Linux operating system, the default permission for that file is read write read means what? 644. The default permission for a file is 644. Now we are going to create a directory same way with the same name permission. Okay, enter. Now if you have to see the directory, are you able to see something over here? What is the default permission for a directory is read write execute, that is 7, then read and execute, that is 5, and read and execute, that is again 5, means 755. That's what it is. I have written over here, nothing but the default permission for a file is your 644 and the default permission for a directory is 755. But from where this value is coming, that you need to understand. Just now we understand whenever you create a file, by default the file will be 644, and whenever you create a directory, by default it will be a 755. But from where this value is coming, there is a mechanism, there is a calculation behind that one. So that calculation is nothing but that calculation is coming from your UMask, guys. UMask, there is nothing called UMask. So UMask is nothing but UMask is going to decide that what should be the default permission for a file and a directory when it's created. That is called user file creation. If you run the command called UMask, you are able to get the UMask value. And it's not like, as I said very clearly, this UMask value is nothing but this is also a script. This is a binary executable script which is running from bin directory, if you remember guys properly. Correct. I'm taking you in the depth of Linux. Just try to understand. If you go to this directory and you just try to search this UMask, just try to search, it is there. No, it is there in the sbin. If you remember sbin, go to this sbin and do this UMask, guys. Okay, so it is not there also. This is just an script. This is just an script. That's what I want to convey over here, guys. Just try to understand this one. So this UMask is nothing but this UMask is also a value. Okay, this is also a command, okay, which is running from either bin or sbin, guys. Okay, and this value is coming from there. Okay, even you can change this value. There is a particular file for this one, guys. Okay, dot bash profile or dot bash rc, you can check that one. Okay, from there this value is coming, but I would suggest don't do that. your entire operating system will be at stake, okay, in production environment, because there is a default value which is already done. Okay, this coding has been already done. You just need to create a file, you just need to create a directory, guys. Now coming back to the point, when I said there is a default value of your file and a directory, so just understand this umask is how it's giving you, or how it's you can say helping it out, or how we are, by use of this umask value, we are able to create the default value of a file and default value of a directory, guys. Just try to understand the calculation first, how it's happening now. Okay, coming back to the slide over here, you are able to see something, correct? So what, just now we have executed a command called umask, that is 022, its value is coming. So the, if you want to give a full permission for a file, what could be the full permission for a file? You cannot give a execute permission to a file, you can give a read write only, maximum, correct? By default, you, if you want to give a full permission to a file, if this file is there, and if you want to give the full permission to a file I'm talking about, then you need to give 666, and you need to give the file name permission.txt. Okay, and if you do ll, and if you want to see this one, see, read write, read write, read write, you cannot give a execute permission to a file, never ever. That is only for when you want to execute that file as a shell script, then it won't be a normal file, guys. So the full permission, it will be a, for a file will be 666, and when you subtract this umask value, that is 022 from 666, then your default value of the file is coming, that is nothing but 644. So then again, if you want to convert this one, then what you will do, 644. Okay, whenever you create a normal file, the file will be your 644. This is how the calculation. Same way with the directory. The default permission for a directory, as I said, 755, guys. Okay, if you go here, but the full permission for a directory is 777. We can give full permission for a directory, execute permission, correct? That's what I have told in the previous slide. If you remember over here, for a directory, to enter into a directory, we can give execute permission, but we cannot give for a file, because if you want to run a file, then only you need to give execute permission. So for the file, you should have only read and write permission. That is the maximum permission you can provide for a file. But for a directory, you can provide read, write, and execute. So this is what, guys, if you come here, if you do chmod, and you need to give 777, and you just giving permission, correct, permission, enter. Okay, what is this directory? You can see this one. Okay, 777, full permission of this directory. Now see this directory, this directory is 777, that is read write execute at owner, group, and others level. Now, whenever you subtract a umask value from this, that is 022, the default value of the directory is 755. So this is how, guys, we calculate your default file or a directory permission in a Linux operating system, irrespective of Ubuntu, Fedora, Red Hat, Kali Linux, or any Linux. This is going to work everywhere. So guys, are you able to understand my point? Now let's this particular directory back to normal. How we can make it back to normal? 755, and you need to give this one. Okay, now this directory is back to normal, correct? This is your umask value. This is how the umask value is there, guys. So this is all about your file permission, guys. Okay, thank you for watching this video. If you have any doubt, any queries, you can write it back to me. I'm happy to answer as soon as possible.